Everyone knows that the dead don't talk. But what if you're not dead? What if the woman who took care of you for 20 years, the woman you trusted, tried to kill you and you knew it? That's exactly what I, Rose Campbell, did. I staged my own death. And my funeral, oh, that funeral was the sweetest moment of my life. But before I tell you how I came to that moment, I must tell you about the look I first saw in Nancy's eyes that cold February night. The look that pulled back the curtain on a 20-year lie. And I, at 81, discovered the greatest betrayal of my life. I was born and raised in the Beacon Hill neighborhood of Boston. My father, Theodore Campbell, was a partner in one of the city's oldest law firms. My mother, Eleanor, was a violinist in the Boston Symphony Orchestra. I, Rose Eleanor Campbell, was their only child. I had a privileged childhood, I can't deny that. But I also learned things that money can't buy. My mother used to say to me every night before I went to sleep, "Rose, beauty comes and goes. Money runs out, but character lasts forever." In 1958, I entered Boston University School of Nursing. My parents objected. Why would the Campbell's daughter become a nurse? But I was determined. I wanted to help people, make a real difference. I graduated in 1962, the same year I met Harold Mitchell. Harold, I still remember the first time I saw him. I was an intern at Massachusetts General Hospital. He was a young doctor, pediatrics. One day I found him telling a bedtime story to a sick child, Tommy, a 6-year-old leukemia patient. "And the prince defeated the dragon," Harold said with exaggerated hand gestures. Tommy was laughing. The first time he'd laughed in months. Not his voice, not his face, but his compassionate heart. We were married in 1963, a small ceremony. My parents weren't very happy. Harold came from a middle-class family. But I didn't care. In 1965, our first daughter Susan was born. In 1968, Patricia. 2 angels. Harold was a wonderful father. He came home every night no matter how tired he was. He would play with the girls, read to them. But in 1969, everything changed. The Vietnam War. Harold volunteered. "You don't have to go," I said, crying. "We need doctors here too." "There's more need there, Rose," he said, "and you're coming too." I was shocked. "What?" "It's a volunteer nurse program. We'll go together. 6 months. Our moms take care of the girls." And off we went. Vietnam, Saigon, December 1969, June 1970. Those 6 months changed my life. What I saw, 18, 19-year-old boys, mutilated bodies, severed limbs, and blood everywhere. But I learned something there, the survival instinct. One day during a Viet Cong attack, I had to play dead. 3 hours, under a pile of corpses, without breathing, slowing my heartbeat. When Harold found me, I was half dead, but alive. "How did you do it?" he asked me. "I don't know," I said. I wanted to live. For you. After we came back from Vietnam, it was hard to adjust to normal life. But we made it. Harold moved up in the hospital, became chief resident. I started working part-time. We raised the girls. Susan was smart, ambitious. She went to Harvard, studied medicine, following in her father's footsteps. Patricia was an artist. She studied law at Yale, but her real passion was painting. The years flew by. In 1985, Susan got a job in San Francisco, a heart surgeon. She married and gave birth to 2 children. In 1990, Patricia moved to London, international law. She was single, focused on her career. Harold and I were alone, but happy. Morning walks, evening wine, weekend concerts. In 2001, Harold's first heart attack. It was mild, but it was a warning. "You have to slow down," I said. "I will slow down," he said. "I'll retire at 65, I promise." He retired in 2004. We made plans, traveling, time with grandchildren. But in February 2006, a second heart attack. This time it was severe. In the hospital room, he took my hand. "Rose," he said, "I love you. I always have. And I love you, Harold. You're gonna be okay." She smiled, that sad smile. "No, honey, not this time. But promise me, you will live. You'll really live, not just breathe. Live." "Harold, promise me, Rose." "I promise." February 15th, 2006, 3:47 a.m. Harold Mitchell, the love of my life, is dead. Holding my hand, smiling. I didn't cry at the funeral. Susan cried. Patricia cried. I didn't cry, because I promised I'd live. But how? 66 years old, alone, big house, girls far away, friends are old, some of them dead. The first year was hell. Harold's perfume was still on his pillow. I was still pouring 2 cups of coffee in the morning, answering the door at 6 p.m. Harold always came at 6. One day, I found myself crying in the grocery store, in the vegetable section, Harold's favorite broccoli. I put it in the basket out of habit. "Are you okay?" someone asked. I turned. A woman in her 40s, red hair, concerned green eyes. "Yes, I'm fine," I said, quickly wiping away tears. "Are you sure? I can help." Irish accent, soft, melodic. "It's just, I lost my wife. Sometimes I forget." The woman's face softened. "I understand. I just lost my mother too. In Ireland. The pain is universal." I found a strange comfort in this stranger's words. "I'm Nancy," she said, holding out her hand. "Nancy Boyle. Rose Campbell. Would you like to have coffee with you, Rose? There's a nice cafe just around the corner." Normally, I would have said no. But that day, that moment, I was so tired of being alone. I said, "Sure." Coffee turned into an hour. Nancy was a great listener. I talked about Harold, Vietnam, my daughters. "You've raised 2 successful daughters," she said. "You should be proud." "I am, but they're away. They're busy." Nancy shook her head. "Modern life. Families are breaking up. It's the same in Ireland. That's why I came to America. For work." "What do you do?" "Elder care. I'm a professional caregiver with 15 years of experience." It felt like fate. But I didn't need it at that moment. Not yet. We exchanged phone numbers. We met sometimes. Nancy became a good friend. She told funny stories, cheered me up. In the summer of 2007, I fell. On the stairs. Broke my hip. 2 weeks in the hospital, then physical therapy. Susan came, stayed a week. "Mom, you can't live alone anymore." "I can, I just have to be careful." Patricia came too. She stayed 3 days. "Mom, we should think about a nursing home." "No way, I'll die in this house." the house I lived in with Harold for 40 years. And they left. They had jobs, lives. I was alone, on crutches. Nancy called. She heard I was out of the hospital. You need help, Rose, even if it's temporary. She was right. I couldn't go shopping. I couldn't cook. Even bathing was torture. It's just for a few weeks, I said, until I get better. Nancy moved in that day, in the guest room. We talked salary, $3,000 a month, including lodging, food. It was generous, but I could afford it. Harold had saved well. Life insurance, pension, investments. At the end of the week, I gave up the crutches. Nancy applauded. That's wonderful! You recovered so fast! Thanks to you, Nancy. If it wasn't for you... Oh, don't exaggerate. I'm just doing my job. But she was more to me. She was a friend, a comrade. Life at home. After 6 weeks, I was fully recovered. Nancy had to go. That was our agreement, but I didn't want her to go. Nancy, I said one evening, will you stay permanently for companionship? I'm getting old. Sometimes I need help. Nancy's face lit up. Really? But I mean, you're fine now. I'm fine today. And tomorrow? I'm 67 years old, Nancy, living alone. It's so hard after Harold left. Nancy's eyes welled up. Of course I'll stay, Rose. You remind me of the family I left behind in Ireland. And so Nancy Boyle became a permanent part of my life. The first years were wonderful. Nancy wasn't just a caregiver. She was a friend, a daughter, a confidant. We'd have breakfast together in the morning, and I'd talk about Harold, and Nancy would listen and sometimes cry with me. What a beautiful love you've had, she'd say. I never married, I never found the right person. You will, I'd say, you're only 45. On weekends we'd go sightseeing, museums, parks, shopping. Nancy drove. I haven't driven since Vietnam. That day, that explosion. The day I almost lost Harold. Rose, are you all right? Nancy's voice brought me back to the present. Yeah, it's just old memories. Nancy took my hand. Memories hurt sometimes, but they are what make us who we are. She was right. At Christmas 2008, I introduced Nancy to my family. Susan and Patricia came as a family, one of our rare full reunions. Mom, you look great, Susan said. You've been listening to Nancy. Nancy is wonderful, Patricia said, to see the happiness on Anne's face. Nancy blushed. You're exaggerating. Rose is already a wonderful woman. That night, after everyone had gone to bed, Nancy and I were sitting in the living room, the fireplace burning. We were drinking hot chocolate. Thank you, Nancy, I said, for everything. Thank you, Rose. You've given me a home. You gave me a family. 2009, 2010, 2011. The years passed happily. Nancy refused to take a salary anymore. Family members don't get a salary, she said. But Nancy, it's your job. No, Rose. This isn't work anymore. This is life. It's my life, I insisted. Finally, we agreed, half salary, and bonuses every year, on her birthday and at Christmas. I opened a bank account for Nancy. For your future, I said, someday you'll have your own house. She cried. No one has ever done anything like this for me. In 2012, Susan called. Mom, Mark and I are getting a divorce. I was devastated. 20 years of marriage. I said, should I come? No, Mom, I'll take care of it. I just wanted to hear your voice. Nancy sat with me that night. I cried. I cried for Susan, for my grandchildren. Life is cruel sometimes, Nancy said. But family always remains family. In 2013, Patricia finally got married, 45 years old, to a London artist. Nancy and I went to the wedding. Nancy sat among Patricia's aunts. No one questioned her. It seemed so natural. In 2014, the first signs began. Slight forgetfulness, confusing names. Nancy, is it Tuesday? Thursday, Rose. Uh-huh, sure. Nancy was worried. Let's go to the doctor. It's old age, Nancy. It's normal. But Nancy insisted, so we went. The tests were done. Mild cognitive impairment, the doctor said. Not dementia yet, but... I was a nurse. I knew. It was quiet on the way home. Nancy was crying. Don't cry, I said. I'm still here. I know, but I'm afraid of losing you, Rose. You won't lose me, Nancy, I promise. That night, Nancy's behavior changed. More protective, more worried. She triple-checked my medication and added vitamin supplements to my meals. I will protect you, Rose, she said, no matter what happens. In early 2015, I realized my bank accounts, something was wrong. Money was missing. Nancy, I said, I withdrew $5,000 last month for bills, but... Nancy jumped in. Oh, I paid the bills, Rose. You forgot. Here are the receipts. The receipts were there. Everything looked in order. But... I want to pay for it myself, Nancy. I'm not in my right mind yet. Nancy's face changed for a moment. Then her warm smile returned. Of course, Rose, I'm sorry. I just wanted to help. But that look, that glimpse, I saw that look in Vietnam. Viet Cong prisoners, lying, making plans. I couldn't sleep that night, not trusting Nancy. I've had her for 8 years. She's like family. But that look. The next day I went to the bank, secretly, while Nancy was shopping. Can I see your account activity for the last 6 months? What I see. Regular withdrawals, always on the days Nancy went shopping. In total, she's $30,000 short. But how? I have the signature. I have the cards. When I got home, Nancy was in the kitchen. She was cooking. As usual. Hello, Rose. Did you have a nice walk? Yes, I said, lying. The weather was nice. I didn't touch my food that night. I have no appetite, I said. Nancy was worried. Are you sick? Have you taken your medication? Medication. That night, after Nancy went to sleep, I checked my medication. My heart medicine. My blood pressure medicine. But they look different. The color is the same, but the shape. I took one. I hid it under my tongue. I went to the bathroom. I took it out. I examined it. The writing on it was different. This was not my medicine. My knees buckled. I grabbed the sink. Nancy. Nancy called me. What was she doing? I decided then and there that I would play the game, but I would make the rules. The next morning I acted normal. Breakfast, conversation, smiles. Nancy, I said, I'm thinking of updating my will. Nancy's hands shook. Slightly. She almost dropped the cup. Why? I'm getting old. Everything has to be organized. You should buy something. I've had you for 8 years. Nancy's eyes lit up. Rose, I'm not here for the money. I know that, honey, but I want to secure your future. That's a lie. I was testing. What? How much do you think? Her voice was shaking. Do you think 500,000 is fair? Nancy's face. Oh, that face. Greed. Pure greed. Rose, that's... That's very generous. You're worth it, Nancy. That day, I called my lawyer, Sam Goldstein, my friend of 40 years. Sam, I need to talk to you in private. I don't want Nancy to know. Sam showed up. I told him everything. My suspicions, what I'd discovered. He said, "Let's go to the police." He said, "No, not yet. We need proof. And I want to see Nancy's real face." We changed my will. We took Nancy's name out. I left everything to my daughters. And special instructions to Sam. If I die, autopsy. When I got home, Nancy was waiting at the door. "Is that the lawyer?" I wondered. "Yes, it's settled. You're in the will." That's a lie. But Nancy seemed happy. That night, for the first time in 8 years, I passed Nancy's room and stopped. The door was ajar. She was talking on the phone. In Irish, but some words in English. 5 million. The old witch. Soon. Very soon. 5 million. I said 500,000. Then I realized. Nancy knew my entire fortune. How did she know? She must have shuffled the papers. And she said soon. I didn't sleep that night. I made plans. I remembered Vietnam. Survival training. Playing dead. Yeah, I could do that. I practiced for weeks, secretly. Nancy, in the garden, shopping, breath holding, slowing the heartbeat, keeping the eyes open and not looking. And I waited. February 2019. That cold night. "Rose, you have the flu," Nancy said. "I'll give you special medicine." The medicine was different, obviously. "These are not my normal pills, Nancy." "The pharmacist gave you the generic. It's the same thing." I took them, but for real this time. Half of it. And right after that, the emetic I'd been hiding in secret. 20 minutes later, it started. My heart flutters, but I'm in control. "Nancy! Help!" Nancy ran, the fake concern on her face, the real excitement underneath. I said, "Ambulance!" She didn't call. She waited 10 minutes. She took my pulse. "Too weak," he murmured. "A little more. Here it is now. Showtime." I slowed my breathing. I slowed my heart. My eyes open but empty. "He's dead," Nancy said. At last. At last. Joy. Pure joy in her voice. She called the ambulance. "Heart attack. Too late." At the hospital, when the young doctor examined me, I blinked. Slightly. She was shocked, but she was smart. He understood. "It's 11:47. Death," she said aloud. But she whispered in my ear, "The police are coming." 2 hours in the morgue, cold metal table, but I was alive. I had seen Nancy's true colors. Detective Rodriguez came. I told him everything. "Proof? Search my house. You'll find the drugs. Check the accounts. And Nancy's room?" They found it. Everything. The counterfeit drugs, stolen money, and the diary. "I've waited 20 years. I deserve it. The old witch must die." 20 years? But Nancy had been dead for 8 years. Then it came out. Nancy's been using a fake ID. She's done it before. 3 old women. All died of heart attacks. Serial killer, the detective said, targeting older women. But I was alive, and my plan wasn't over. "Let it be my funeral," I said. "Let Nancy come. Let Nancy see it." And it happened. April 3rd, 2019. My own funeral. As I lay in the coffin, I heard it all. My daughters crying, the sobs of my grandchildren, and Nancy's fake tears. "Pity," he was saying to the woman next door. "But he's rich. His will." The priest began to speak. "Rose Campbell, dear mother, grandmother." I pressed the button. The door opened. "Hello," I said. "I hope you said something nice." Chaos. screams, people fainting. But I was just looking at Nancy. "Hello, Nancy. Did you miss me?" Nancy's face, first white, then green, then purple. It's impossible. You're dead." "I'm not dead, Nancy. I live to catch murderers like you." The police arrested Nancy, but before he left, he turned to me. 20 years I served you." "No, Nancy, you didn't serve me. You deceived me. Not 8 years. They checked your identity. You've been killing old women for 20 years. I was your 4th victim, but the last." Nancy's real name was Margaret O'Sullivan. She killed 2 old women in Ireland. She fled to America. It all came out at the trial. How she gained trust, how she slowly poisoned them, how he stole the money. 25 years in prison, no parole. Last words? "Nancy, you tried to kill me, but you actually made me stronger. Now I know who to trust and who not to trust." After the funeral, my daughters hugged me. "Mom, we can't believe it. How did you do it?" "Vietnam," I said. "War teaches you a lot." I'm 83 now. Maria is my new caregiver, but there's a difference. The first day, "Maria, you're not in my will. You won't have one. You have a salary, that's all." Maria laughed. "That's all right, Mrs. Campbell. I don't work for money. I work for humanity." Maria laughed. "No problem, Mrs. Campbell. I don't work for money. I work for humanity." I liked that answer. It seemed honest, but Nancy seemed honest too, for the first 7 years. Maria is 35 years old, Mexican, mother of 3. Her husband works in construction. He's here for the right reasons, to support his family, not for greedy schemes like Nancy. "Maria," I said on the second day, "I'll tell you something. My previous babysitter tried to kill me." Maria's eyes widened. "Que? I'm sorry, what did you say?" "As you heard, I trusted him for 8 years. Finally, he tried to kill him with poison. He wanted his money." Maria took out her crucifix. "Dios mío, how did you survive?" "I played dead. I stood up at my funeral. Now he's in jail." Maria's mouth hung open, then she laughed. "Mrs. Campbell, you are an amazing woman." "Maybe I am, but I don't trust anyone easily anymore." For the first months, I tested Maria constantly. I counted her money, checked my medication, monitored my bank accounts daily. Maria noticed. "Mrs. Campbell, you don't trust me. I understand. But I'm not Nancy." "How do I know that?" "You don't, but time will tell." And time did. 6 months have passed. There are no problems. Maria is honest, hardworking, loving. But I was still prepared. 2020 came, the pandemic. The world stopped, but I'd already learned crises can be turned into opportunities. "Maria," I said, "you can stay here with your family. Your house is big enough." "But, Mrs. Campbell," "The virus is dangerous, especially for the elderly. You have to be safe." Maria's family moved out. 3 children, Diego 12, Carmen 8, and baby Luis 2. The house suddenly came alive. Diego is a smart boy. I taught him to play chess. Carmen likes to paint. Luis calls me Abuela Rose. This family made me live again after 20 years. That's real love, not Nancy's fake love. But one day, Luis got sick. High fever. A terrible thing during a pandemic. "We have to go to the hospital," Maria said in a panic. "No," I said. "The hospital is too risky now. Let's call a doctor." My old friend Dr. Stevens came. He examined Luis. Ear infection. He prescribed antibiotics. "But the medicine is expensive," Maria said. "Our insurance—" I said, "I'll pay for it." "Mrs. Campbell, no, it's too much." "Maria, you're my family. Family takes care of each other." That night, Maria cried. Mrs. Campbell, you do so much for us. I feel the same way. You've made me live again. In 2021, the vaccination started. I was one of the first, then Maria's family. Safety is paramount. But that year, another test came. Susan called. Mom, bad news. Mark is taking my Vela rights to court. What? Why? Because you stood up at your funeral. He claims your family is unstable. Anger, pure rage. That bastard, he knows how I protected you from Nancy. I know, Mom, but the court, it casts doubt on your mental health. Maria was with me. Mrs. Campbell, are you all right? No, Maria, I'm not okay, but I will fight. The court process took 6 months. Lawyers, experts, witnesses, as if I was guilty. But in the end, the truth came out. The Nancy case, the police reports, my psychiatrist's examination, completely normal. The court rules, said the judge. Rose Campbell is of sound mind, her judgment is valid. The mother retains custody of her grandchildren. Susan won, but I was tired. A court battle at 84 is not easy. Maybe you should slow down, Maria said. Rest. I can't slow down, Maria. Slowing down means dying. In 2022, Patricia returned from England. She kept saying, Mom, you're too old now. There's a nice nursing home in London. Stop, Patricia. I was born and raised in this house. I'm going to die here. But Mom, you're all alone. I'm not alone. I have Maria. She has her family. They're my family. Patricia didn't understand. How could she? She didn't see my years with Harold. She didn't experience Nancy's betrayal. She didn't feel Maria's loyalty. Patricia, I said, you are my daughter. I love you. But my life is here now, in this house, with this family. She was hurt, but she accepted it. In 2023, I turned 85. For my birthday, Maria made a cake, Mexican style. The children danced. Luis, now 5, sang, Feliz cumpleaños, Abuela Rose. I haven't been this happy since Harold. But that evening, when I was alone, I looked in the mirror. Wrinkles, white hair, tired eyes. Rose, I said to myself, you're 85 years old. How much longer? And then I heard Harold's voice. You'll live, Rose. You're really gonna live. And I did. I really did. In 2024, Diego graduated from high school. He was the top student in school. He got a scholarship to college, MIT. Diego, I said, I'm proud, but it's expensive. I can help. No, Abuela Rose. There's a scholarship. But living expenses? Books? Clothes? We set up a separate fund for Diego's education. Why? Susan asked me on the phone. Why are you giving money to a foreign child? He's not a stranger. He's my grandson. My heart grandson. Susan became silent. Then, I get it, Mom. I love you. And I you. Now it's 2025. I'm 86. I'm slower, but wiser. Nancy's lesson is not forgotten. Maria is still with me. She's not just a caregiver anymore. She's a family manager, home manager, my confidant. Mrs. Campbell, she said the other day, don't you ever regret it, catching Nancy instead of killing her. No, Maria, killing is easy, catching her is hard. But it's more valuable. How? Because now Nancy is in prison. She's alive, but she's not free. She thinks about it every day, how she couldn't fool me. This is my victory. Maria smiled. You're very clever. Living requires intelligence, Maria. It's the art of survival. This morning, I looked at Harold's photo. He was smiling, he was always smiling. I lived as I promised, I said to the photo. I really lived. I beat Nancy, I kept my family. I found a new family. And today, at 86, I'm still making plans. Diego's graduation, Carmen's art show, Luis starting school. Yes, the dead don't talk. But I'm not dead. I'm alive. And I'm going to keep on living. Harold's words prove true. Living is not just breathing. Living is really living. I'm Rose Campbell, 86 years old, still fighting, still living, still loving. And Nancy? Nancy's 67. She's in prison. She lives with the past. She lives with regret. Which of us is more successful? The answer is clear. Living is the greatest victory, and I'm still alive.